Stupidity is the one thing that Nigerians and South Africans have in common. They just don't like to talk about it, but it's a fact. Stupidity is what South Africans and Nigerians have in common.
I'm telling you. Child, look at my face. Yeah, it's God, bro.
Burna Boy is laughing at South Africans. Why is he laughing at South Africans? He said, after all that, laughter emojis everywhere. Well, if you do not know why, it is because of this lady.
Hello South Africa, my name is Chidima Vanessa Onwe Adechina.
Miss Chidima Adechina is the reason Burna Boy is laughing at South Africans. Miss Chidima Adechina was one of the contestants of the just concluded Miss South Africa beauty pageant competition, and guess what? Chidima was pressured to withdraw from the competition simply because of her roots. She was traced to have a Nigerian father and a Mozambican mother, but it was said that she was born in South Africa, so shouldn't that make her a South African citizen? I don't know. But Chidima was pressured out of the competition simply because of her parents. Her parents are not South Africans, but she was born in South Africa. And during the competition, South Africans pushed and pushed and pushed until she had no choice but to withdraw from the race. And then the story came that her mother was involved in identity theft some years earlier, which could not be traced to the lady because as of the time the mother committed the identity theft crime, Chidima was just a toddler, a little baby, a tiny little baby, cabo baby. But all the same, pressure was on Chidima and she had to withdraw from the race. Burna Boy currently represents the minds of so many Nigerians, which is, you South Africans are black people and you are using all your energy to punish a black person for a white person to win. You're pushing out a black person so you can give a crown to a white person. That's the angle Nigerians are seeing all of this from now that this white lady has won the competition. And because of this, Nigerians have once again started pointing fingers at South Africans, calling them xenophobic, calling them racist, and all of that. Yeah. Stupidity is the one thing that Nigerians and South Africans have in common. They just don't like to talk about it, but it's a fact. Stupidity is what South Africans and Nigerians have in common. I'm not insulting Nigerians or South Africans. I'm just saying that South Africans, when it comes to people of other African countries, there's this irritation they hardly hide. There's this irritation that they cannot just put inside, they cannot suppress when it comes to anything that has to do with people from other African countries. You understand? And that's why people always want to associate xenophobia with South Africans. That's why when you type xenophobia on the internet or on Google or anywhere, it's South Africa and South Africans that always come up. And Nigerians are among the people who always point fingers at South Africans, calling them xenophobic and all of that. But Nigerians at the same time are tribalistic. Nigerians are also tribalistic. They don't like each other because of tribal differences. But they get angry when South Africans show dislike to other Africans due to country differences. That's the one thing I say Nigerians and South Africans have in common. That's the stupidity I'm referring to when I say Nigerians have one thing in common with South Africans. That stupidity that up till 2024 has not been gotten rid of. Stupidity, which needs to stop, which needs to stop. South Africans, come on now. I found it ridiculous when South Africans were really out to discredit Chidima Adechina. I don't know. I was utterly disappointed. But then again, as long as it has to do with somebody from another country, South Africans will never stop. They will never stop. They've proven this time and time and time again that once you're from another country, you don't stand a chance. Fine. I mean, who are we to judge them? I have seen young South Africans rip apart the legacy of Nelson Mandela, thrash Nelson Mandela in Nigeria. Nelson Mandela is a big African hero. The first time I heard thrashy talk about Nelson Mandela came from South Africans. The big hero, the person we call big hero in Nigeria, the young people in South Africa are talking trash about him. They're insulting him, they're calling him a fraud, they're saying he's not even the real one died in 1985, the one that lived was a fraud, was an impersonator, imposter, and all of that. There's this picture in circulation, and some young South Africans are saying that the man is a liar, this and that while he was lying that he was in prison, or while they were lying that he was in prison, he was having fun. Look at him, like here, this was the time he was meant to be in prison, he was out there having fun, he's a fake, he's a fraud and all of that. I mean, if South Africans could say this of a hero as big as Nelson Mandela, who is Miss Chidinma, that they will not come for. And that exactly is what they did. They came for her until she withdrew from the race. If you ask South Africans, why do you have issues with Nigerians? What's the problem? What exactly is it that you don't like about Nigerians? You hear stuff like, oh, the Nigerians, they sell the drugs in our country, they corrupt our young girls and all of that, they take our jobs and all of that. I hear that a lot. Does that define every Nigerian? Absolutely not, because I've heard positive things about Nigerians from South Africans, and the positive things are Nigerian men know how to take care of women. South African men are lazy. Nigerian men know when to wake up. They know how to wake up on time to go and hustle to make some money. They know how to set up a business. They know how to start a business. They know how to run a business. They know how to finish a business. These words are coming from South Africans, that where South Africans are lazy to do something, Nigerians are 10 steps ahead. And naturally, if you're 10 steps ahead of a person, the person is naturally going to have some feeling of dislike for you. So that's what some South Africans are saying, that Nigerians are kind of ahead in terms of thinking compared to South Africans. And when it comes to taking care of women, when it comes to giving women transport money, when it comes to paying bills, when it comes to just appreciating women with money, Nigerian men, they come first. South Africans are the ones saying this, not Nigerians. South Africans living in South Africa are the ones saying this. And they're also saying, while others are saying that, oh, we don't like Nigerians because they are drug dealers and all. I am a Nigerian. I have never seen drugs before in my life. I've lived on this planet for over 4 decades. I do not know what the white powder looks like. I've never seen it. Same for the people around me. What am I trying to say? We have disgruntled elements everywhere. We have disgruntled elements from all countries, all tribes and tongues. And that's the reason every country has a police. If a Nigerian or if Nigerian citizens are out there corrupting young people and selling drugs, which of course it has been discovered that it's some white people from Europe and white South Africans that are even supplying the drugs. But if Nigerians are out there in any country selling drugs, it's the job of the law enforcement agents to clamp on them and send them into jail permanently where they belong. But you cannot use that to just cover the whole country and say, oh, this is who they are, this is what they always do. Now the question is, do Nigerians dislike South Africans? As a Nigerian, it may sound biased, but Nigerians do not dislike South Africans. Throughout the 1980s, the music in Nigeria were all about South Africa. My brother, free Nelson Mandela, they are our brothers. The newspapers were all talking about South Africa. We want freedom for our brothers and all of that. Those were the things I saw throughout the 1980s. That was all Nigeria was all about in the 1970s and 1980s. Freedom for South Africa. Nigerians do not hate South Africans. Nigerians do not dislike South Africans. Nigerians love South Africans. However, it is the xenophobic tendencies, the display of xenophobia, the display of hate against Nigerians based on their nationality. That is why Nigerians are growing this form of dislike, and it's growing for South Africans, which should not be.
And to create a safer society for women and children to live in.
In my final analysis, I just want to say that Nigerians are not better than South Africans, and South Africans are not better than Nigerians. But I would want us to know that it is a known fact that we have idiots in Nigeria and idiots in South Africa. We also have super idiots in Nigeria and we have super idiots in South Africa. And sometimes it's always the super idiots and idiots that come out to speak and generalize things and make people in other parts of the world and in other countries think that everybody in this or that particular country are idiots and super idiots. You know what I mean? Yes, so let us not, because of what idiots and super idiots come out to say publicly, come to a general conclusion that people are bad because they are from this or that country. Nobody's bad, nobody is terrible. As a matter of fact, we are only a product of our environment. And if our environment is toxic, it's going to reflect somehow in our affairs, in our activities, in our daily life. What I want us to know at this point in time is for South Africans and Nigerians to sheath their swords and embrace peace. Show love. One love. We need to unite. Be one. Be united. We are Africans. Let us stay that way as brothers and sisters. Thank you for watching this video. I love you all, South Africans. I love you all, Nigerians. God bless you. Bye-bye.